welcome to another episode of Chewing on the Wire Radio on the COTW, as we enjoy calling our station. And happy Memorial Day, because that's what today is. Today is Memorial Day. Very special holiday to honor all of the men and women who served and have since passed on. But anyway, to get into it, to get right into what we're cooking today. So if you listen to our last episode we had on here, we did a pregame, our Power Swing pregame for the first game of the series between the Cleveland Guardians and the Los Angeles Angels. Or as you may know them, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Or as you may know them, the Anaheim Angels. Or perhaps you are more keen to the more popular name, the California Angels. Or maybe you just know them as the Angels. But regardless, I digress, because they have had 15 million names, it seems like. But regardless, we did a pregame pre-show. Pregame show. I don't know, whatever you call it, for that game. And I was saying I wasn't quite sure about what exactly the Guardians would do, because I think they got the Angels number now, but, the first time that they played the Angels this season, they lost by a score of 6-0. And frankly, Bing also was not too sure about what either team would do, because even with the Angels kind of being cold, and the Guardians on their hot streak, Bing had the win percentage at like fifth. I don't have it written down. Do I have it written? Hold on. Do I have that note? I might actually still have it, because I am a smarty pants who keeps the old notes. The Angels' win percentage was 49.2%, and the Guardians was 50.8%. And I think it just goes to show, after the last series, no one really knew. The Guardians on an absolute tear, and they lost that first game 6-0. But this series, out in California, the Game 1 that we did the pregame pre-show for, as I keep saying, the Guardians really showed up and showed out. One of the big things, one of the major highlights, I'm going to play some audio for you here, if you can by chance hear it, of the Guardians had 3 home runs in a row. Then before they had 3 home runs in a row, Jose Ramirez hit a home run, then came back up, hit another home run, then Josh Naylor hit a home run, then David Fry hit a home run, all in order. So they were really, I think, tired of the Angels kind of giving them crap, or people giving them crap. You lost to the Angels 6-0, and they're like, well, watch this. We're going to go up there. This is today's game plan. We're going to go up there, and in the 4th inning, Jose, Naylor, and Fry, I believe were the 3, are going to hit home runs simultaneously. And then someone said you can't hit a home run simultaneously, it's one person at a time. So we said, all right, they're just going to hit a home run, each of them in a row. We're going to have 3 home runs in a row. And everyone laughed at that. But guess what? It happened. This is probably what the conversation was in the clubhouse, at least. But anyway, so let's listen to that. The Guardians with 3 home runs in a row here.
Air out here. Nope.
Deep center.
Nope.
Pilar back. He's at the
He
wall.
got it.
Goodbye! Jose's done it again. His 2nd home run in as many innings. Both of them 2-run shots. And Ramirez rolling right now for the Guardians.
And he went to the big part of the ballpark, too.
Something early. Oh, baby. Long and deep and gone for Josh Naylor. Back-to-back homers here in the 4th. And the Guardians pouring it on.
Boy, I'll say, they like crooked numbers.
It's their 3rd multiple run inning of the night. and now 79, most in the majors on the year. That's the end of the line for Patrick Sandoval. He had allowed 3 home runs in his first 10 starts this year.
I mean, these guys just start teeing off. He doesn't know what to do. He's looking, and now Naylor finally put a good swing on one.
And his earned run average is up all night, 7-11.
Oh, man.
David Fry, deep
Oh,
left
man.
field. And they're not done yet.
Holy smoke.
3 consecutive home runs here in the 4th.
Back to back to back.
6th home run of the year for Fry.
Cowboys are getting restless. Andre, be careful.
All right, so with that, again, the audio of the Guardians back-to-back-to-back home runs against the Angels. And I really just wanted to play that to show you we had a pretty good team here. And that's what happens when your team is featured on Chewing on the Wire, whether it's the podcast or the YouTube videos. You do really well. It's proven. I'm pretty sure that's just a fact at this point. Anyway, to continue on, what else we got to talk about? I am by myself today, if I didn't say that. It's just me in our main studio, but we are using our travel microphone just because the, what do you call it? I'm like losing my train of thought already. Because the, can't think of the word. Not the condenser, I can't think of the word. I was writing it in my notes and then I forgot to write it. But the music, when I play it through this microphone or the audio, like through a speaker, into this microphone, sounds a lot better, even though you might hear a little more static. Because in our more high quality microphones, when I'm not talking, it's like dead silent, and that's usually what we use. But I know that today I wanted to play some audio for you guys, so I'm using these mics, because they might be a little bit more low quality. And that's why we take them on the road. That's why they're easy to, take places. They're easy to move. But the word I can't think of. There's a word that explains why they are the way they are. But regardless, you can hear audio through them a lot better with the high quality mics. If you play audio through it, it sounds really tinny. If you understand the reference, it sounds like when you send an Android video and play it on an iPhone, or maybe vice versa. So yeah, if you hear a little more static than usual, that is why we're using different mics, because I wanted to show you some audio tonight, or today, whenever you're listening to this. Like I said, I usually am live with these about an hour or so before they hit the market on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That's another thing we can market now, is that we are on Apple Podcasts. And I think that's really cool. I've heard some bad news about Spotify, and it's really unfortunate. And I'm just really, I can't think of the word for that one either. I'm really like, when we do something like this, and even when we started doing like this podcast and this radio show, I wanted it to be done in a way that it'll be like around forever, or we can do it forever, if we wanted to. It's not something that ever needs to end. So when we were only streaming to basically just Spotify, or again, if you're listening on our mobile live link, like that's good. I wanted to make sure we're up with that. But I've heard Spotify is just struggling financially, and it's one of those things. I'm sure, just like in every other business, someone will eventually come out of the woodwork and buy them and make it all better or something. But just in case, because I hear it's more so their business model, offering Spotify free with ads, not working out for them type of situation. But so just in case Spotify goes down the toilet, for whatever reason, it happens. It's happened to music streaming softwares before. We are on Apple Podcasts, and soon to be YouTube. We only have one episode up on YouTube. That's actually an exclusive episode. It's not up anywhere else. And we did like the video for it and stuff. We'll probably be up on YouTube soon, relatively soon. The reason we're not is because we have our regular, like behind the scenes type of videos or just highlight type of videos on there. So I don't think you really need to hear, us rambling about the videos in another video, and then there's 2 videos on the same video, and it's, but I don't know, maybe we'll get it on there. Maybe we'll get on there just in case. But in the meantime, you can now listen on Apple Podcasts. And I know that is an app in and of itself. I'm not sure if that's on Apple Music too, or what the deal is with that. But regardless, download Apple Podcasts, or like I said, out there floating in the universe, I'll put it in my Instagram bio, probably. Now that I know exactly what it is for sure, and it has been sent to me, and I bookmarked it, are just live link to be able to listen to these things, just on like its own website on rss.com. So with that, also talking about if you are listening to us live, etc., or if you're listening to this later and want to text us something for a future episode when we're doing this, our number that you can text, you cannot call it, it'll just be a dead end, but you can text 216-489-2294. Again, text the show at 216-489-2294. So I think the first thing I want to get in, 2 of the things on my list here have to do with amusement parks, and I haven't broken up with something completely random, so I think I want to do the random thing. I want to do the random thing first here. So I got a rant. I got a little rant to go on. And I'm sure I've said this multiple times, and you hear me say it a bunch more times. But I hate copyrights. I hate copyrights, and I hate trademarks, and I kind of hate reserves and all that type of stuff. But not for the reason you think. I think they should be just something else. I think they should be something different. The reason I hate it is because, like, doing these YouTube videos, and being with this radio station and stuff, we get invited to. So it's not even just like we're going on our own free will, even though we probably would, because, we do this because we enjoy it. We get invited to concerts or events sometimes, and then we'll, record a band, etc., and instead of trying to process the live music, into a audio file that doesn't sound poor quality, etc., or you can barely kind of hear what song it is because there's just so much noise going on, we will sync it up, or if not sync it up, just do a video of the overall experience and put one of the band's songs over it. And even with, like being invited, oh, come out and do a radio show here, or a video it, or whatever, we get like the YouTube like copyright strikes. And now it's nothing, like, you can still see the video, it doesn't delete it or something. Well, some of the more extreme ones do delete it. But, for the most part, you can see them. It's just like we can't make money off those videos or off certain parts of those videos. And not that we should be able to. I'm not dissing copyrights because of the whole money aspect. But it's like, dude, we're promoting you, alright? Here's the situation. It is your music. And we're promoting it. We're promoting your concert. We're saying this is how amazing going to a Green Day concert is, or a 21 Pilots concert, or whoever it may be. And I know it's not necessarily the band's fault. Like, I'm not ranting at the band. A lot of it is like the strictness that the producer, or not the producers, the gosh, what do you call it? Like the companies that own the music, like RCA or Reprise Records or something like that, like the record company. They'll just go way too strict on, like, who can share it, or sometimes it's only for like a year or so, and then it calms down, and you'll put it back on YouTube, and then the only thing that happens is, like, when you click in the description, YouTube adds, this is blah 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 song by blah blah blah. But like, I just hate it. I just hate it because it's like you're copyright striking something that belongs to you, that's about you. It's not like I just used your song and was like, this is my music, and then you gotta be like, actually, no, it's not. I'm covering your show, putting your music over your show. A lot of times a video of you performing your music, you invited me to go video. And you're like, no, we can't have that in there. Gotta, in some cases, some extreme cases, gotta take that down. Like, I'm sorry I'm providing you with free marketing. I'll make sure to charge you $6,000, like some of these stations do, next time. Like, it's just dumb as hell to me. I just don't get it. And I understand the whole point of, like, you want to make sure people know it belongs to you. And usually, even before YouTube puts that, like, hyperlink below, like, this is this song that belongs to these people, and it's at this time frame of the video. Even before that, just in the description I type, I'll put, like, songs used in order and, like, you know, keynote them or put the timestamp. Or I'll just, you know, type the name of the song without if it doesn't timestamp itself. But yeah, I don't know. That's just frustrating me. Like, I'm not saying, and I know why they're there, because you don't want people to be like, this is my music, or, you know, you don't want people to cover the song and then just not say anything, and then people to be like, oh, that's, you know, you don't want some random band called the Hyperlinks, I just made up a name, to play Basket Case by Green Day, and this whole new generation that's on YouTube is like, dang, I'm going to go buy this song from the Hyperlinks. I'm going to go to the Hyperlinks concert because I love that song in their new album called Basket Case. Like, I understand the reason they're there, but, like, it's just annoying to me. It's just annoying to me. That's another thing we got to bring up when I got a guest here. I'd like to hear some alternate opinions on that. If you have an alternate opinion on that, you can text us at 216-489-2294. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from you, so then I can make fun of you, because that's usually what ends up happening. Someone ends up texting us something, saying I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about, and then I gotta whip out the reasons I know what I'm talking about, and then I block their phone number. But no, not really. I try not to do that. But anyway, to go on to our next topic here, we're back in the amusement park spectrum here. So first thing, just today, and this may have happened last night, it sounds like, but just today, the Beast at Kings Island is closed. And Kings Island did tweet out something saying they are waiting for a part. So something on the Beast has got to be fixed. This has been a rough month. I was going to say a rough entire season, because it kind of has been, even though it's early in the season, but it seems like a lot of it may be fixed coming up here in June. But I was going to say a rough month/season for amusement parks, because everything, and just, it's frustrating as heck to me. I understand rides break down, and I'm definitely not one of those rides should never break down, blah 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 people, or like, I paid $100 to come ride this ride. Like, well, guess what? It's a piece of machinery. It's like what's I'm completely blanking on another example. It's like your dishwasher. Sometimes it stops working, you know. If you unplug it, you gotta reset it, and it could take 2 hours. You know, it's like, it's a piece of machinery, just like anything else. Or your lawnmower running out of gas, and then, I can't mow the lawn now. No, you just put new gas in it. It might take 5 minutes, and obviously this is a much bigger spectrum of an example. You may have to just give it an hour or two, but usually they work again. But man, this year, and this is why I'm kind of salty, just, you know, in general, this year, is because we were planning our trip to Pittsburgh for our Electric Applesauce Fest. Something else I wanted to mention, and we'll talk about again later at the end of this episode. More towards the end of this episode, I should say. But, and our whole thing was going to Kennywood for my third attempt at riding Steel Curtain. And it was after we booked the hotel, but luckily before we bought tickets, Steel Curtain closed again. Still have not gotten to ride that. I think it was 2019. No, that doesn't sound right. Did it come out in 19 or 20? I can't remember. I don't have the computer open. I'm not going full-fledged with this one because I just took a couple of notes here so we can have a quick little episode. But it closed again. This is the third attempt. My third attempt at riding it. And got our date scheduled, got our hotel scheduled, and Kennywood was like, up. You hear who's coming into town? Chewing on the Wire is coming to town. We gotta cut the seatbelts off of Steel Curtain, so we have a reason to close it for 6 months. I swear that's what it feels like sometimes, but... Anyway, so yeah, the Beast will be closed for a little bit. They're waiting for pieces, parts to be shipped to the park. And of course, the second thing that I'm going to talk about. Is Top Thrill 2. So from what I heard, they were testing it recently. And now I've also seen photos of Zamperla employees, etc., eating at the Backbeat Q, which is the restaurant in Cedar Point right behind the big tower for Top Thrill 2. So clearly they're there, clearly they're doing their thing, which is a good sign. Hasn't opened yet. I remember there was one Friday, I believe, that Scott was like, I think it was just a couple days after they announced the initial closing, that they were going to have to fix some stuff, close up for a while, that Scott messaged me. He's like, dude, it's like running again. Like at least one of the trains are running. Like maybe it'll just open this weekend. And it never ended up doing that. I don't know what happened, because I was sold into that idea. Like it might just open this weekend. And I was thinking about going this Memorial Day weekend or something, bringing to the family, trying to get them to go on it. Maybe getting the fast passes, all that. And it just didn't open. And then just on Saturday night, I was going to say yesterday, but now that was 2 days ago, on Saturday night, I saw the pictures of the Zamperla crew having some lunch, having some barbecue lunch at the Backbeat Q. So they're clearly there. They're clearly doing their thing, doing their work. It seems, from what I've seen, pictures, videos, etc., it's got something to do with the wheels. It must got those going back. Must got those, or like cracked chassis or something. Must got those going back, because something was one of the trains, at least one of the trains. I want to say the black one, but I could be lying. But one of the trains was testing. So we're getting somewhere. Maybe they tested it, then it came back down. They ran it 4 times, 10 times, and then they looked at it and they're like, gosh darn it, the wheels still just rubbed themselves into oblivion. They just cracked again or whatever, and they got to start back from square one. So maybe it just didn't work, and that's why it's still closed. I saw a funny comment, and I kind of chuckled, but then I kind of got annoyed after it. Someone was like, let me see if I bookmarked it. It was on X. Where is my X app here? Where's my X app? Here we go. And you gotta give me a second to find this, cause I did the bookmark thing, if that makes sense. Oh, here, where did it go? Now I gotta find, there's bookmark. Is it this one? Oh gosh, is it all the way at the bottom of the line? I don't even remember bookmarking half of these. Is it all the way down here? Hold on, guys. Because I want to read this exactly. I want to read this the way it was meant to be read. No, it's not down there. What is this? I can't find where it went. I feel like I remember who posted it, so I could just go back to their page. But I also swear that I bookmarked this. If I don't find it in a second, we're just going back. We're just going back to their page. Yeah, alright, give me a second. Let me look. Alright, then click on media. Here we go. Right here. Zamperla employees out here with the Cedar Fair dining plan. That was where I saw the original photo, etc., etc. But then in the comments is where I started getting chippy. Here, where was it? So this one right here. Someone commented on the photo of the Zamperla crew eating some lunch. Someone commented, them talking about how to fix Top Thrill 2 and having no ideas. Intamin is laughing right about now. And then there's a couple people saying I was thinking the same thing, all of that. But then the comment that got me here, that I was interested in, was Mr. Tim K saying, actually they're discussing what a poop show. I almost just straight up, I'm trying, to make this show as clean as I can. What a poop show, but he obviously used the S word. They are actually discussing what a poop show of a mess Intamin left them, actually. Then Harry wants to, he clapped back, saying the main problem of the original Top Thrill dragster being the hydraulic launch has been removed. How is any of this still Intamin's fault? And Tim K clapped back again, because it was their abomination in the first place. That ride sucks. Intamin sucks, case closed. And then Harry, is he the one that, yeah, Harry responded again. I asked how it is still their fault and not Zamperla's inexperience which causes this. Also, Blood likes his own comment. Oh, he must have liked his own comment. Well, now I'm going to bookmark all of this because I clearly didn't bookmark it before, and I think that's something, especially when Scott comes back. I want to go over with him, get some more insight on this. And then Champa Bay Best also commented, Intamin sucks, huh? And then just put a bunch of pictures off of Google of Intamin rides. I don't understand what he was trying to prove there. A bunch of pictures, 3 or 4 slides of Intamin rides, but I kind of agree with Tim K. And y'all have heard this. This might take a while, or maybe it'll take 2 seconds because I want to save most of it again for when I have my amusement park connoisseur here to help me out. But I kind of agree with Tim K. My whole thing with it, Intamin. Well, so first off, there are 2 companies that 2 ride manufacturers. Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink real quick. There are 2 ride manufacturers who I absolutely hate, to the point that and this is more so because I am not the amusement park guy through and through, so I'm not really too worried about getting all the credits in the world like someone like Scott would be. There are 2 amusement park, I'm losing my train of thought trying to get all my thoughts in order here because this isn't something that I put in my notes to go over. There are 2 manufacturers that I'd never ride their rides, probably because I don't even care about getting all the credits. I just absolutely hate their rides, and I believe that is Vekoma, and I want to say, I might need to be corrected on this one, I think Arrow is the other one. So I'm not an Intamin hater, I just feel like I'm more so a realist in saying I agree with Tim K. And I say that, I'm trying to get all my thoughts in order here still. I understand the hydraulic launch doesn't exist anymore, but it's more so I feel like Intamin is a company that makes great looking rides, and then when they come out into existence and they work, when they work they're wonderful still, but they don't really work a whole lot. So it's how is this Intamin's fault? Because Intamin left a rusty, just a rust bucket of a ride here whose hydraulics didn't work to the point that they just got rid of it. The whole system underneath with both the brakes, the everything, it just wasn't doing anything. So I think that's why they got rid of Intamin. They said no more Intamin on this because it was how many tries did they have to, okay, the hydraulic lift doesn't work, or the hydraulic launch doesn't work, let's put our LSMs on it, because it was just a few years ago that Cedar Point was still, in the works with Intamin, still affiliated with Intamin, etc., 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 and Intamin wasn't we got this new technology we're trying out, I know you might be annoyed with us, but we got better, new, awesome LSMs, let's try doing that. No, they didn't do that. They ignored the problem and they just let it be what it is, and I didn't see Intamin showing up running to the park every time it broke down, you know what I mean? Because they didn't, because it seems like they didn't give a crap. And then it still goes to show the same thing goes on with Maverick. Like I said, it sounds like the big problem this year and just, again, if this is the first episode you're listening to, I've been working at Cedar Point as both a ride-op and a Halloween Screamster, and just a, what do you call it, with the security team, an auditor for IROC. I've kind of done a little bit of everything with multiple companies inside of the amusement park industry. And so now the new insight that I'm hearing is Maverick is just getting error codes that there's something sitting on the block zone that is the brakes, and you can literally turn your head to the left and see there's nothing on the brakes. And they're only like running 2 trains someday when it's slower. So it's like they're both in the station. Like it just seems like Intamin. The way that I describe it is like children playing with Legos or like the Lego roller coaster sets. You can make them have loops, you can make them go to the ceiling, blah 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 blah, but they're so fragile that when you make that badass multicolored K'NEX model or Lego model roller coaster that goes up to the ceiling, blah 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 blah, you get it there and then it just falls over because like all of its weight is on it. That's like Intamin trying to make rides to me. And I could be because just the 3 or 4, maybe I think 4, not 5. 4 rides that I've dealt with have just been garbage, and like Intamin doesn't do anything about it. It was even like to the point that like when Wicked Twister was just getting every error code you can imagine, and there was a point in time where it was down, and in an off season, Intamin came and put on new LSMs that just also didn't work. Because here's an idea, maybe it's the LSMs you're producing, you know what I mean? Because those seem to kind of suck, not just, like, oh, maybe something was wrong with those. No, it seems like you just suck at producing LSMs type of situation. And I understand the whole, that was so long ago, now, look at the Velocicoaster, they're so much better. Or it's like, if you took your car to a dealership or a mechanic to get your AC fixed and your tire changed, and you get a phone call that all 4 of your tires are off and your car's on fire, I'm not going back to that mechanic. So that kind of seems like where Cedar Point is with Intamin. And that's why, like I said, I'm not an Intamin, hater. I'm just one of those I'm in one of those positions. I'm one of those people that when it comes to the rides at Cedar Point, I do not want Intamin to have a foot, a toe, a finger, an eyelash in them anymore. Get rid of Intamin. It's just, and they do have some more modern, amazing rides, such as Velocicoaster. I closed the picture that Champa Bay posted of all the modern rides and stuff. They do have some amazing rides, and like I said, I'm not an Intamin hater. I'd go on an Intamin. I'd easily say Intamin is my second, potentially third. Nah, I'd say second. Favorite manufacturer behind B&M. I like the craziness B&M does, and B&M seems to be doing some other stuff. You know what I mean? I felt like, at least to me, I always had the intention that B&M, or the thought that B&M's intention was to make these inverts, but then they came out with things. Can't talk, gosh, like Diamondback and like Orion or things of that nature, and I just think that's super cool. You know what I mean? And on that same note, then below that, Intamin is probably my second favorite. I was gonna say either Intamin or RMC, but quite honestly, I don't think I've ridden enough RMCs. There hasn't been an RMC or a... Hold on, I gotta look up the name of this manufacturer. I'm not, like I said, I'm not as hip to it as Scott is. I gotta Google some of these. GCI. Great Coasters International. And I haven't, like I said, I don't think I've been on enough of those to rank them in, I was gonna say my top 3, but then I don't know what my third would be if it wasn't one of those 2. I'd really have to think about that. But that's another, it's I've only been on 3, max 4. Oh, sorry, Max. Sorry, we have a cat named Max. You know, he just looked at me like, what? No, but maximum, which doesn't help because he's a cat, so he still just hears Max. But no, max maybe 4 GCIs or RMCs. But I've loved all of them. It was one of those situations that I didn't originally absolutely 110% mind-numbingly love the original Dragster. I thought it was a little too much. Because like I said, I have a weird, it kind of gave me an asthmatic attack almost when I rode it. So it was one of those, I couldn't say that with Intamin type of thing. So that's why it was kind of it may have only been 3 or 4 as compared to I feel like I've been on every B&M on this side of Kansas City at this point. But I kind of put them up there because it was like, see the differences though. There's not an RMC or a GCI I don't like, but there is an Intamin I don't like. But no, so those are honestly easily my top 4 like manufacturers, like their rides I like. But that is my beef with Intamin. That is my beef with Intamin. Is it seems like in multiple cases, and like even if the company hasn't completely cut off Intamin like Cedar Point kind of has, or at least I have heard that they have in the past. It's kind of like a shady situation. Like I've heard there's been instances with Six Flags where it was like, as Phil Collins would say, no reply at all. And I didn't do enough research on this to be bringing up these historical things I used to know about. When there was a point in time, I'd say around 2013. My family used to have Cedar Point passes way back when, then from like 2008 or 9ish to 2012, we just didn't. We had a house up in Put-in-Bay, that's not, if you're from Ohio, not too far from Sandusky, so we'd go up there every summer, every weekend instead of, or up to, Detroit, seeing my uncle and all that, going to Tigers games, instead of going to Cedar Point, so we stopped getting the passes. But then in 2013, it was like, because I felt at that point, in 2006, the last time that I remember being there, because I fell down, got a cut on my knee, and my mom got me a stuffed animal Snoopy, still have today. That was like my last memory that I remember. Then I went home and watched Charlie Brown VHS tapes, but no, that was the last memory I have of the whole Cedar Point season pass prior to 2013. But I feel like I was just too young to pay attention, or roller coasters were just intimidating. I wouldn't even go take a picture by like the Mantis sign, let alone ride Top Thrill Dragster. But no, in 2013 was also the time that I was really getting into like logo design and all that, as I was about to go to trade school, to be a graphic designer and all that stuff, digital art design, coding, all that fun digital art stuff. It was right before that started and all that. So I was really into like, dang, I like these designs. I like the way that they tie in themes. Like, this is awesome. And then Scott was a big, like, into the physics or how they work type of thing. And so we kind of hit it off. And then he's taught me what he knows because he was already a amusement park phenom, already an enthusiast. I was heavy into sports, and what got me into amusement parks was kind of the theming and the logos, because I was real big into like graphic design and art aspect. And so there was a point in time, I want to say from 2013 to 2017-ish, where it was like I wanted to learn everything there was about this industry because it was freaking awesome to me. Like, it was a whole nother aspect. Like, one of the reasons, aside from the fact that I played sports my whole life, one of the reasons I was heavy into sports was, like, I liked kind of the connection they always had with the city, or, and it was, like, all over one logo, all over one team name, and then that's what got me into art and stuff like that. So I realized, like, an amusement park was almost another version of that. And so then I wanted to learn everything about amusement parks, like I learned everything about sports from the time I was, it feels like from the time I was born until, 2013 or whatever. But yeah, so I was like heavy into those, and I was like memorizing what manufacturers did what, like looking up all these stories, all the history, all the accidents that happened, all the different theming, how they painted things different based on the theming, based on the time of year, whatever it was. And so I don't remember all those stories, but I do remember Intamin just having endless problems. Dare I say, endless downtime. Seemed like kind of a reckless, abandoned company. I think that was one of the first companies where it was like, and this doesn't happen all too often, at least I don't think, in the amusement park industry, but you see it happening in like, and now I'm not calling out one company, I don't think Home Depot does this, but like in things like Home Depot or like contracting companies where it's like, you'll contract through, and again, I'm making up a company name. Don't pin this on this company. I'm just making up a story. But you contract through Lowe's, and then they install your window, build your house. Then when it doesn't work, suddenly you're cut off from, the Lowe's extraditing process and the whole contractor thing, and it's like, you have been removed from our contact. We're like, do not contact this, blah, 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 blah. It seems like that's kind of like what Intamin did to some of these parks. It was like, especially, I think that's why Cedar Point got so pissed, because it was like, Millennium's still on its like backup motor, or whatever you call it. The chain lift going up, how it doesn't halfway up, it doesn't speed up anymore. It's because it's on its backup elevator lift system. And it seems like Intamin was like, again, reckless abandon. There was lights on but no one's home type of thing. It's like you hear horror stories, like I said, about of like someone installs your new roof and suddenly you can't ever get in contact with the person that installed your new roof when it starts leaking. It seems like one of those situations, big time, when it comes to Intamin. And now that could just totally be, a front office aspect, a customer service type of thing. Like, they have a bad customer service team because they're focusing on making amazing roller coasters instead. But no, I'm really salty about Intamin too, and I don't understand why everyone's so like, oh, you should have had Intamin do this project. Yeah, because they did so great the other 27 times they, got a chance to fix Dragster. Or I didn't see them recommending LSMs. They just kept saying, we'll send you a new cable, and then when it doesn't work, they stopped caring, it seemed like, you know what I mean? So I think that's an overall, it's your experience with the company. I wouldn't go back to Intamin if that's how they treated me, you know what I mean? They had, from the time that the ride opened to the time that it closed, I would 21 years, 21 years, and the ride's been around for 24, and you don't see Intamin trying to fix it, do anything, and then everyone's going, what? You didn't reach out to Intamin to remodel it? Like, no, they didn't give us a phone call in the 24 years they had to fix it. So, like, that's just my take on the whole situation. My mind's starting to fade with what I'm starting to get words. What do you call it? I'm losing my train of thought is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, last thing. We've got to talk about last thing before I close this episode out here. The Electric Applesauce Fest. That is... What is the Electric Applesauce Fest? That's how I should start that, actually. Well, the Electric Applesauce Fest is a multi-day event. We're going to be doing a live radio taping. We'll have some games, giveaways, fun stuff going on. We will be attending a either baseball event or a concert in person, so you can meet us, so you can talk to us, maybe even be on the show. And this year, we have 2 stops, because this is how we're going to do our quote-unquote like touring from now on, I believe. Just one whole weekend, one long weekend, maybe 2 a year. If we're feeling like we're having a good year financially, etc., maybe 3. That's a lot, though. Don't bet on that. So we're doing 2 this year. First one, hometown show in Cleveland, Ohio, June 21st through 23rd. We'll be going to the Cleveland Guardians game June 22nd and seeing Shaq Diesel perform afterwards. That's Shaquille O'Neal performing a DJ set. Our second stop, where is it going to be? Max, would you like to tell everyone where it's going to be? Max is playing with the box right now. I don't want to leave too much, white noise, too much open space here. Max is playing with the box. He's preoccupied. He says hi, though. Anyway, our second stop. It's going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Speaking of Kennywood, how I was talking about that earlier. That's going to be August 31st through September 2nd. And guess why we're going there? We're going there for the Green Day Saviors Tour. So that's the event you can come out and see us at. That round of the Electric Applesauce Fest. And like I said, same deal. Live taping of our show. Some games, some prizes. And the day before, we'll have 2 meetup locations, believe it or not. One is actually in Erie, Pennsylvania, because we are no longer going to Kennywood. Because the only reason I was going to spend, the $50 for a ticket type of situation there, was maybe 1, do the radio show, but 2 was ride Steel Curtain, try to get on it for the 3rd time. I have not been on it once, so this is my 3rd attempt to try to get on it. And like I said, it's closed for the season. So we're staying right down the street from Kennywood, but we scratch Kennywood. We'll be going to Waldemere Park in Erie, PA, the morning of the 31st. But then guess what? The evening of the 31st, you can also come hang out with us. You can also come meet us. You can also come say hello at the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Pittsburgh. Got a little thing going on there. We'll be hanging out for 2 hours, I believe. Got the kind of okay go to, maybe hand out some business cards, talk to people, do a little giveaway maybe. We're not filming our live show there. Not sure where we're doing our show quite yet. I don't believe we're doing it there, but regardless, so yeah, the Electric Applesauce Fest. Oh, that was a bad bell at first there. And speaking of the bell, I feel like multiple radio stations do the bell every time they say something, that's key, something you should listen to, something you should remember. They do the bell. We're not trying to steal that, because one of my favorite radio stations, the reason I got into doing this, they use the bell. And I don't know if the bell's copyrighted. I hope it's not. I'm not trying to steal the bell. I just agree that was the only true way to get you to listen and to understand, because you remember the bell. It's bell trading. That's what it is. Because if you heard the episodes before this one, I would kind of just say the thing in a different voice, enunciate it, say the thing, and then give some silence, just like I did right there. So you can stew on what I just said and think about it. But now I think the bell's a good idea. If you don't like the bell, if the bell's illegal, you can always text us at 216-489-2294 and let us know. But until then, that was another bad ring at first there. I gotta get bell trained, but yeah. So that's the bell. That's the Electric Applesauce Fest. There's not really any tickets to it. We'll be putting out on our social media where we're meeting up, where you can hit us up. Maybe where we're sitting, so on and so forth. You've got to buy tickets to the events we're hosting or we're going to in order to see us. We aren't just selling straight tickets to this. But yeah, that's the Electric Applesauce Fest. And with that, I must bid you adieu. I believe that is all the time we have on this nice Memorial Day. Beautiful Memorial Day, even if there's some rain coming up. Beautiful Memorial Day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And I believe the next time I'll see you is Friday. I don't believe we have a Power Swing pregame. Gosh, I am not good with this bell. There we go. I don't believe we have a Power Swing pregame this week. If we do, check our socials. It'll be on there. I don't think we have one before Friday at least. So I'll see you again Friday. I will see you again Friday. Maybe if we're lucky. This might be a lot to ask because, like, the reason Scott's not here right now and he hasn't been here once is because he has a lot going on. Not only, with another job, with his company, running the show down there, but then he's also going to school. But his school is ending. He passed he's in the HVAC game. He passed his HVAC quiz. So we're gonna grill him on that whenever he comes back on. But maybe it'll be this upcoming Friday. Who knows though? I don't know. You don't know. But regardless, thank you for listening as we're heading into the summer here. Gonna get a lot more exciting, a lot more stuff going on. Thank you for listening. Tune in next time. I'll see you Friday on the COTW. Bye-bye.